How you doing? My name is Antoine Baker. I'm a nursing student here at Middle Georgia State College. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that's dear to my heart because I know that we all have a lot of barriers that we need to cross a lot of times. One of the barriers that I'm going to be talking about today is the barriers in nursing. And there are several barriers in nursing. I'm going to be covering one topic today, along with my friend Miss
Derrica Whitfield.
Today, we're going to be discussing about the various barriers in nursing. One of the topics that I want to discuss today is shortage, because there is indeed a shortage in nursing, and one of the reasons that we have a shortage in nursing is because many of the baby boomers that we have, they are retiring now. They're entering the age where they're about to retire. So once they retire, it will create a void within the nursing profession. And once that void is created, it'll be up to younger nurses to try to fill the void. But one thing about the void that older nurses will make is the fact that there's a lot of experience within that older generation of nurses. There's a lot of experience. They mentor a lot of us in order to and teach a lot of us so we can obtain the same skills that they have. And once you have that void inside nursing, when it comes to the senior advisors that taught us, then you have that void, and it creates more pressure on newly graduated nurses. Because newly graduated nurses, they will have to try to fill the shoes of the older nurses whom gained so much experience throughout the years. Now, part of the problems that we have is the median age for nursing is 46. So that's part of the problem. And it's one of the barriers. Because as the older nurses go, like I said, you're going to have a new era of nurses coming in. They're younger, and they're not as experienced. So, and they also have a lot of emotional stress. I've written down several barriers to nursing on the board, and part of the emotional stressors that younger nurses face is that newly graduates sometimes acquire a lot of debt, and that can stress you out in itself. Everybody knows bills can stress anybody out, and if you have an overabundance of debt when you graduate, then the possibility of making enough money once you have to pay those student loans back can become a stressor. And part of that stressor can then follow you onto your work follow you to work, and then you're dealing with the pressures of a new job where you have very little experience, and not only that, but you're dealing with the pressures of the debt that you've acquired while in nursing school. part of that solution that I would suggest that would alleviate newly hired nurses is to have more scholarships available to them, where they can have the opportunity to levy some of that debt, whereas they do not have to have so much built on them when they graduate. Because when you graduate, you're thinking about things you want to buy, whether it be cars, whether it be material things like clothes, or what have you. But when you don't have the money to do that, it can become a stressor. So scholarships, reimbursement tuition, that is I believe, a key thing that will help a lot of students before they graduate. If you're able to alleviate the stress of how much nursing costs, because once you become a nurse, and matter of fact, when you're in school, you have to pay for your uniform, you have to pay for your equipment, you have to pay for your clothing, you have to pay for everything. A lot of times it comes out of your pocket. And if you don't have if you get the student loans, and once you create so much debt, then how are you going to levy that debt? The debt is going to build up until you be able to pay it off. And when are you going to be able to pay it off? So if you have tuition reimbursement, it can help reduce your stress level as far as debt goes, and then you will be able to go graduate nursing school without the stress of all the debt that you've accumulated while in nursing school. So that's one of the barriers of nursing, and there are several barriers of nursing, and we're going to talk about some of them today. Along with me and along with my friend Derrica, we're going to talk about many of them. Now, Also, part of the solution that would also be a benefit to nurses, so that we can reduce the shortage, is to encourage encourage nurses to participate from overseas. Nurses who are trained nurses that want to come over here to where we are in order to be nurses. That is a good idea, because more diversity we have in nurses, because we live in America. America is a diverse country. And if you have nurses from all backgrounds here in order to give medical assistance to many of the diverse cultures that we have here, then they'll be comfortable. Because think about it, if you have a Muslim nurse for Muslim, Latinos for Latinos, if they can speak fluent Spanish, they can better gain that trust with the patient and obtain that comfortability in order to get that therapeutic effect that we want for the patient. Okay, well, we can serve them better. All right. So those are the barriers. Those are the barriers to nursing that I'm talking about. And Derica is going to speak with you some more about other barriers.
Be discussing the different education requirements needed to be considered a nurse. As we all know, nursing has different entry levels to being a nurse, which makes us different from other professions. And we have entry levels such as BSN, which all of us are trying to get, ADN or ASN, and diploma programs, which is like a hospital-based program. By us having different entry levels into being a nurse, a lot of people outside of the nursing profession do not see nursing as a profession, because they say that we don't have a unified identity because of the different entry levels. So that's the main reason why people do not consider nursing to be an actual profession. A solution that could help ease the tension between the nursing field and the education requirements is to actually set a standard to where having earning a bachelor's degree is the basic level that you should be at. Because like Antoine stated, the baby boomers, they're going to be retiring soon, and new graduates will have to fill those shoes, and that's a hard shoe to fill with a nurse with having plenty of years of experience. So having at least a basic bachelor's degree, you have extra time and effort, which enhances your validity, and it helps establish a more qualified nurse. And the reason why BSN education should be the standard is because, you know, related to other education pathways, is because it introduces students to a wider range of areas, such as critical thinking skills and leadership skills, which we need a lot, and that we actually do see in the BSN program compared to other programs that are out there. And making the bachelor's degree the standard will also help create a workforce, that is composed of higher education levels, and it'll also probably decrease the amount of tension that's between ASN and BSN. So it really helps out a lot if nurses would try to pursue having BSN as the standard level of being a nurse. So that is all for our presentation. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you learned something in this presentation, and I hope that we all could further our education, because nursing is a lifelong education field, and it's good to be updated on the latest things and educated in the latest things. So, hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed, and thank you for your time.